What's up, buddy? How you doing today? I hope you're well. I'm doing very well. Let's get into some stretching. This is episode 5, I think, of my journey to get the full pancake stretch. And so today I'm going to be doing a little bit of the pancake stretch, and I'm also going to be doing a bit of accessory work. Just like in last episode, I talked about accessory work. And I was doing a sort of a hip-centric straddle up kind of movement that focuses more on the hips and the knees and putting a lot more load through those as an accessory. Today we'll work on a different exercise that puts more load through the back, which is sort of the other end of the kinetic chain, if you will, or sort of the other end of your body that we need to stretch with this pancake stretch. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I'm just going to do one nice warm-up rep here, get into the pancake stretch, see where I'm at today and how I'm feeling. So I can already tell for a warm-up, this actually feels pretty good today. I'm feeling loose, feeling recovered, which is great. I actually went for an hour-long trail run earlier today, and I've just been sort of chilling out, drinking coffee and playing guitar since then. So actually, I would say it's sort of remarkable that I feel this limber. Usually I feel quite tight after running, but I think I just am pretty well rested from a nice, relaxing weekend. So today, I'm feeling a nice stretch in my adductors there, but my back is the bit that's feeling a little bit more tight. So I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite exercises to work specifically on that back flexion flexibility, and it is, of course, the Jefferson curl. So to do the Jefferson curl, you can start with just your body weight and you don't need to add any extra weight, but the real power of doing this movement comes from adding weight. Just small amounts of weight, I would say. You can do your first rep if you've never done it before with literally just your body weight, and then afterwards just add small increments like 5 to 10 pounds. And then after several sessions, you can move up to something more like 20 pounds or 10 kilograms. Today, I'm going to be doing 10 kilograms because I've done this a lot before. And I'm used to it, but don't go crazy on this one. We're going to be stretching our spine deeply, so we don't want to add a lot of weight. The goal is not to get significantly strong in this movement when we're using it as an accessory for mobility and flexibility training. We just want to use sort of the minimum amount of weight possible that actually puts enough force on our muscles to bring us a bit deeper. And generally speaking, once you get to like 5 or 10 kilograms, you can keep using a weight similar to that like forever. Even as you progress and get deeper and deeper into the stretch, you won't need to add more weight because you'll just be going further and further in your range of motion. So that will be harder. Anyways. So I have numerous other videos on this channel talking about how to do the Jefferson curl. So I won't go super deep into the cues on it, and I have videos on programming it for strength as well. I'll move this up a little bit. But basically, I'm going to talk more about how I'm using this. So essentially, I'm going to do just one set of, I'm not sure how many repetitions, probably between 5 and 10, however much feels good. But I'm going to be doing these reps really nice and slowly and trying to, as I progress through the reps, the first motion will look more like a back hinge, almost like I'm doing something like a deadlift, where I'm just mainly hinging at the hips. And as I complete each repetition, I'm going to try to flex more and more into the spine. That allows me to sort of warm up into it and just sort of compare and contrast what it feels like to actually articulate the spine, because it can be a bit odd if you haven't done it before. All right, so with that in mind, I'll take my weight and we'll get into it. So again, today I'm using 10 kilos, but if you're a complete beginner, just start with no weight whatsoever. That's the safest way to do it. We're trying to get stronger over months and years, not in one session. Right. So I'm going to start with my legs about shoulder width apart. To make this more specific for the pancake, you can obviously do this in a straddle. The problem is, as you get better at this, you kind of run out of range of motion, and this will easily just touch the ground. So I'm going to keep my legs mostly straight, but depending on where you are, you can do this various different ways, and it sort of moves the stretch around. So first rep, like I said, mostly like a hinge. And the key thing here is that I'm keeping my knees not locked, but basically straight. So I can move them a little bit, but it's not a knee bend that I'm doing here. Okay, gonna bend a little bit more this time. On the bottom, I'm sort of swaying side to side, really letting the weight stretch me. Now I'm going to start really thinking about articulating the spine. Pulsing a little bit at the bottom to try to get deeper. Oh. Felt a very nice stretch through the mid back there. Oh. All right. So that felt that felt pretty excellent there. As you can see, I got the blood rush into my head, and well, I don't know if you can see, but I'm glistening a little bit sweaty there. Even though it wasn't a huge amount of physical exertion, I am really trying to use my core and the weight to pull me deeper into the movement. So yeah, if done right, you're gonna feel a nice stretch kind of uniformly throughout your back. One of the great things about the Jefferson curl is that because you're really trying to articulate the whole spine, is it often doesn't pull in any one particular spot. I think when many people are trying to touch their toes or just trying to work on a compound flexibility movement like the pancake, you often feel an almost sharp tightness in one specific area, such as in front of or sort of beside the knees or right in the hips and the groin, or just like at one area in the back. The Jefferson curl is really nice because you're articulating the spine sort of fully. The overall feeling of the movement is a general stretch and nice sort of soreness, if you will, generally throughout the back. So now I'm going to hop back into my pancake pose to see, if I can get any deeper. And I think the answer is definitely going to be yes, because my back feels very, very loose now. So the last thing I'll leave you with is How would you actually program accessories? I'm a big believer that when you're working on a compound stretching move, such as the pancake or the front splits or any sort of full body kind of stretch, what I like to do is focus like 80% of the time of my practice on the actual movement itself, so the specific movement of the pancake stretch, and then 20% of the time on accessories like this. So in particular, I'm stretching 2 to 3 times a week. So let's say if it was 3 times a week, I could do 2 sessions where I'm just practicing the pancake and nothing else. And then I would have 1 session where I might be working on an accessory. And which accessory you do depends on yourself and what you're motivated to do on the day. But you can kind of think of it 2 ways. Generally, when you're working on the full movement, you might find one bottleneck somewhere. Maybe it's your legs, maybe it's your hips, maybe it's your low back. You'll find one area of your body that seems to be a little bit tighter than the other, that exercise seems to stretch well, but that area is lagging behind. And so you can kind of look at that in one of 2 ways. You can either spend more time focusing on that and try to hit it from a slightly different angle with a slightly different stimulus as a way to just get more stimulus into that area so that it will not become a bottleneck. But on the other hand, if you are continually making progress from week to week, another way to think about it is that your actual practice, that 80% of the time where you're just doing the pancake, it is slowly and consistently improving that weakness area, that bottleneck. So what you can do with your accessories is actually work on something else that's understimulated by the full stretch. So if you're limited in your hips and you don't actually feel much of a stretch when you practice the pancake, doing something like the Jefferson curl or any other sort of back stretching, stretch your posterior chain here, can be a good way to continue making progress to something that will in the future become your bottleneck when you're doing that stretch. Yeah, with that said, let's see where I am. I'll put the camera back down so y'all can see me. Voila. Oh yeah, that feels good. Real good. Actually, I want to move back so I can test against the ground. Yeah, so I'm kissing the ground with ease there. Yeah, which is a good indicator of the progress that I've been making on this. Yeah, that feels very, very good. Awesome. So I'll catch you guys in the next episode whenever I get a chance to upload that. If you're interested in learning more about this style of stretching that I do, I have plenty of videos on it. You can check out this whole series of the Journey to the Pancake. I also have lots of videos focused on the splits, and I also have a full flexibility program focusing on the front splits, but teaching you the fundamentals of how to stretch in an efficient way that you can sort of run until you get enough flexibility that you're happy with and just sort of live with that in a better, more mobile body forever. Thanks so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.